to the third webinar in our series. I am Marie McWhite, and once again, I'll be your moderator. No organization or campaign is complete without the nuts and bolts of its mission, values, and overall strategic plan, which explains who we are and what we are accomplishing. The bottom line is that we are an all-volunteer organization, so we need a gigantic force of passionate supporters to propel this movement forward, and that involves you. So let's get started so you can meet some of our leaders. Each one has prepared a short speech for you describing their projects, and as you listen, think about where you might fit in with your interests and skills, and most importantly, what you would enjoy doing.
"You're crazy," exclaimed a neighbor of mine. "Why would you or anyone want to work with volunteers? Some are so vague they don't know what they want. Others simply say they really want to make a difference but aren't sure how. Some want routine and others want to be creative, right? What kind of idiot would want to do that?" Well, I'm Eileen McCulloch, and I'm one of the idiots. There I am on your screen with my dog Major. Actually, I love working with volunteers because we are the heartbeat of AZELO. We're the ones carrying the flag that proclaims every life has dignity, and so should every death. For volunteers, that mission and wanting to make a difference are our root commonalities, and that's what I personally enjoy the most. I'm naturally curious about what others have experienced, how they've approached life, and how they think differently than I do. Want to be an individual contributor? I'm talking about contributing time, of course. We don't ask for financial donations. Hey, no problem. Here are some things you could do. What sounds like fun to you? Prefer working with people? No sweat. Whether a person has a little bit of time or more than that, it's my passion and all of our passion to help make a match. Maybe you want to join AZELO and not assume any volunteer possibilities. That's okay. Maybe you want to be kept informed of what we're doing and learn more. That's great too. Maybe you prefer to read our newsletters and listen to our free webinars. I sure hope you'll complete our interest survey. That's the first step, and that's how we know you exist as a unique person.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa Stevens, the leader of the Advocacy legislation team for Arizona End-of-Life Options. With the next legislative session getting closer and closer, the team has been busy. We are optimistic on being able to make some serious progress this coming year to legalize medical aid in dying. To help achieve this goal, we're currently updating the medical aid in dying bill language. Last year, the Compassion and Choices organization reviewed and provided input, and this year, the Death with Dignity organization is doing the same. We expect to have the final bill language in place by October 1st. We're also pleased to announce Representative Powers Hanley out of Tucson and Senator Alston out of Phoenix have agreed to be our House and Senate bill sponsors respectively. We're also planning meetings with all past bill sponsors and co-sponsors interested in this issue, stressing the need for two identical bills, one in the Senate, one in the House. In the past, we've had multiple bills with conflicting language, which has proven confusing. In addition to our advocacy legislation team, other leaders in Arizona End-of-Life Options have been working on the 7-Touch campaign, with the goal of educating, meeting, and engaging our state legislative incumbents and challengers in all 30 state legislative districts. The 7-Touch campaign is based on the theory of message repetition, with data showing engagement generally occurring between the 5th and 10th touches. Toward that end, all 30 legislative districts have been divided among 8 Arizona end-of-life option regional leaders for monthly messaging, which started last May, to touch all 90 state legislators, with challengers having been recently added to the campaign. It's exciting to note that we are starting to see results. Our goal in the 7-Touch campaign has been and continues to be, 1, educating our legislators and soon-to-be legislators about our Arizona end-of-life option organization, about medical aid in dying, and our goal to legalize medical aid in dying in Arizona by providing information, resources, and personal stories. After educating our legislators, we're doing some intelligence gathering to ascertain their position on medical aid in dying. We're happy to hear from those that are supportive, but really want to engage legislators who are neutral or non-supportive in conversation. We want to answer their questions and discuss their concerns. 3, we want to create visibility or buzz for our issue. As you can imagine, with everything that is going on this year, we have a lot of buzz competition. So we are working hard to stay on the legislative radar. We are currently planning a 7-Touch Plus campaign for post-election contact to show support for our bill sponsors and co-sponsors, and to continue to engage neutral and unsupportive legislators in conversations about medical aid in dying to soften or perhaps change their position. Along with leaders within Arizona end-of-life options, volunteers have also been actively assisting with these 3 goals, but many more volunteers are needed. Legislators are much more likely to listen to their constituents, especially during an election year. Currently, we do not have volunteers in about half of our legislative districts. If you care about legalizing medical aid in dying in Arizona, please volunteer to help. Together, we can do this.
Hi, my name is David Wolf, and I am the current team lead for technology and administration. There's so much going on in the Arizona End-of-Life Options Coalition to educate Arizonans to the advantages of individual choice for medical aid in dying, and ultimately to see a bill passed in the Arizona legislature for a legal death with dignity alternative. We are so excited to have a core team of volunteers on board. But to be even more successful, we need to get the word out and expand across the state. We need your help. If any of our projects sparks your interest, please contact us to learn how you can volunteer to be part of our team. There's plenty of meaningful work to accomplish. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our webinar project. In this time of social distancing, educational webinars are proving to be an effective means to educate constituents and attract additional volunteers. Our organization is fortunate to have attracted leaders with deep knowledge and experience to share with the community. But we need your help to expand and support our offerings. Are you the creative type? Do you have skills in video production? Do you have experience in advertising events? Can you moderate an online webinar? Can you administer our Zoom account to prepare for each event? Our first webinar topic, 6 choices we all have at the end of our lives, is currently being presented weekly as a Zoom meeting. The second webinar in the series focuses on storytelling, the meaning of a good death and a bad death. You can register for one of our webinars on our website, azendoflifeoptions.org. Our website is a great place to get started to learn more about medical aid in dying and the law. Sign up to receive our newsletter, meet our leaders, and Read personal stories focused on end-of-life experiences. Do you have technical skills? Please consider joining our team. There's a lot to do. One recent example was the need to track the status of the 7 Touches campaign that you heard about earlier. Tim developed a roll call application that enabled constituents to report each contact with a state senator or representative. In the near future, we will need additional applications to better manage our volunteer list and track more of the work that we do across the state of Arizona. Are you an applications developer or a business analyst? We could sure use your help. One of our biggest challenges is to inform the millions of people in Arizona of the need for individual choice for medical aid in dying. In this day and age, social media requires the right strategy. How to effectively get more eyeballs to our website and in our webinars. Are you a social media strategist? Are you an advanced user of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Nextdoor? Please consider helping us out. We need your skills and your passion for this important initiative.
This is Dwight Moore from the Education Committee. Hey, I've got a short quiz for you. First of all, how many states have medical aid in dying laws in effect? Second question is, how many doctors need to attest to your eligibility to use the law? And the final question is, does Arizona have a medical aid in dying law in place? So let's see how you did. We want to pass this medical aid in dying law here in Arizona, and we need to educate the public about the law. Here are the answers to the quiz. The first question is a bit of a trick question. How many states have medical aid in dying laws in effect? There are 9 states plus the District of Columbia. We'll give you half credit if you said 9. The second question is, how many doctors are needed to attest to your eligibility to use the law? And the answer is, it takes 2 doctors to certify that you have a terminal illness and are of sound mind if you want to use the law. And the third question is, does Arizona have the law in place? And most of you know that the sad answer is no, Arizona does not have the law in place, but we intend to get it passed within the next couple of years with your help. So in order to educate citizens of Arizona, we have a number of projects going on, some of which you're hearing about in this webinar. There's the webinar program itself. We have a program called Talk to Your Doc, and we have a newspaper blitz. Let me tell you a little bit now about the Talk to Your Doc program. If you think about it, you probably have at least 3 or 4 doctors that you go visit. You have your family doctor, you may have an oncologist, a dermatologist, what else might you have? A cardiologist. All of these people you visit on a regular basis. The way the Talk to the Doctor program works is basically when you're sitting with them, tell them that you support medical aid in dying and ask them if they're familiar with that process. If they're not, give them your brief elevator speech describing medical aid in dying. Also ask them if they would write a prescription for you to die with dignity after we pass the law here in Arizona. Now, if that physician seems particularly interested in this or supportive, you could also ask if they would help our Docs for Dignity group. This is a group of doctors that we're growing, and their job is to help us at the hearings next year and to help us advocate for this law to be passed here in the state. Third main area for education is using appropriately the newspaper database we have. Maria has developed a magnificent database of 60 small newspapers across the state. Some of these publish weekly, some every other week. Very few publish daily. Using this database, We need folks to help contact the editors to write op-ed pieces. Op-ed basically comes from the terminology opposition education, which is taking a position and advocating for it in the newspaper. We also need people to write press releases in these small newspapers, briefly describing the law, the campaign itself, the bill, when the bill is going to be heard, and so on and so forth. And then we also have a need, finally, to place advertisements to recruit volunteers. We continually need folks to help in this campaign, as you know, and so that would be the third use that we might make of a volunteer. So in summary, for your own education about medical aid in dying, if you want to know more, go to our website and read our frequently asked questions in the proposed law section. Take a look at the history, read our newsletter, familiarize yourself with this law. Thank you very much, and we welcome your support in this endeavor.
Hi, my name is Stu Burge, and one of the responsibilities that I have as part of the communication team for Arizona End of Life Options is a newsletter that goes out about twice a month. We're strictly nonprofit and also listed among the nons that we are. We're non-sectarian, we are nonpartisan, and we're completely and thoroughly 100% volunteer grassroots organization made up of people who care about medical aid in dying. We are always looking for volunteers who have a relevant background and a willingness to participate in medical aid in dying promotion through things like writing, editing, if you have public relations experience, social media experience, and or anything that would lend itself to persuading people, and I'm primarily talking about legislators. And so we're looking for people who are persuasive, who understand what medical aid in dying is all about. Hopefully, people who agree 100%, like we all do already, that it is something that people should have an option to have access to, which we do not in the state of Arizona, which is unfortunate. As an adjunct to that, we are doing a special initiative this year as we run up to the election and the convening of the next session of the legislature. And we are requesting and inviting all our volunteers who are so interested to consider writing either an op-ed piece or a letter to the editor for whatever newspaper, magazine, professional journal, whatever, where they happen to be interested and are part of the readership. We want to get our people to testify, in effect, on behalf of medical aid in dying becoming a law in the state of Arizona. And finally, we are going in a direction on the airwaves with we have an effort in place contacting radio stations around the state to tap into, mostly we're targeting PBS, public radio stations, and those stations that their format is news talk. They do news talk and discussion of relevant issues of the day. So we are approaching them, trying to stir up interest in some of the very, very interesting stories that our volunteers have to tell. And some of the things that they look for, we can't quite promise. There's an old saying in journalism, if it bleeds, it leads. Well, we don't have a lot of blood and guts to report. No fires, no automobile accidents. It's just people who are terminally ill and who want an easy, peaceful way out of this existence and on to the next one. So that's what I do in a nutshell.
Hi, my name is Mary Ganapole. I live in Tucson and I'm part of the endorsement team. We are looking for people to support our efforts statewide in passing a medical aid in dying law in Arizona, and that support can come in the form of an endorsement. You may ask, why are endorsements important? Primarily, endorsements are for lawmakers, those in our state house and state senate. It helps lawmakers see that this movement is bigger than just Arizona end-of-life options. We will show we have the backing of Arizona medical groups, faith leaders, political organizations, seniors, and the disabled. The other benefit of endorsements is that it will help educate Arizona voters, enlist volunteers, and encourage advocacy when lawmakers are in session. We can offer webinars to their members and write articles for their newsletters. So what is our strategy? We started with a list of national endorsements found on the Compassion and Choices website and began contacting the Arizona state chapters of each organization. We're also seeking endorsements from individuals, especially if they are influential in their field. They can help publicize Arizona end-of-life options through social media or be an influencer to others in their line of work. Now, what exactly does an endorsement look like? They come in various formats ranging from a 2-sentence position statement to full pages of written or oral testimony. It may simply be an article in the organization's newsletter or website. In reaching out to groups, we can provide sample wording as well as suggested handouts and attachments. Keep in mind, some groups will choose to remain neutral. A neutral position is also helpful. It means they will not actively oppose us when a bill is being publicly debated. Endorsements on neutral positions and endorsements will then be included on our website, in our newsletter, and on the deathwithdignity.org Arizona page. We may include a link to their group, which may increase their membership, help publicize their issues, or send referrals to their business. Quid pro quo. So how can you help? Think about other groups you support. Are there active groups in your community that have caught your eye? Brainstorm with like-minded people about who they might know who would be interested in endorsing us. Do you know doctors, nurses, therapists, social workers, and others in the healthcare field that are willing to speak out in favor of medical aid in dying? Do you know an elder law attorney or someone else in the legal field that might be interested? Do you belong to a religious organization that might have a faith leader that believes in our cause? These endorsements are crucial before the law passes, and these groups and individuals may also be actively engaged in the movement after the law passes. If you don't want to approach a group for an endorsement, you can simply send us your ideas, and we would be happy to pursue the lead. Thanks for helping in any way you can to spread the word about Arizona end-of-life options.
Now is where we talk about how you can help. Go to our website and click on the volunteer button. You'll be assigned one of us as a mentor who will help you decide where you'd like to fit in and whether or not you'd like to volunteer. Please subscribe to our newsletter. You might register to attend one of our weekly webinars via Zoom, where you will be able to chat with one of our doctors. And if you haven't seen it already, be sure to watch the second webinar in our series about 2 stories, which shows the clear advantages of being able to plan one's own death. Here's our website. It's azendoflifeoptions.org. And jot down Dr. Moore's phone number in case you have any questions. Thank you for taking the time to get to know us. We hope you will soon become a part of our team.